Hello, something I wanted to share with you today. As you know, business is one of the three major ways of becoming wealthy, essentially. And why do you want to become wealthy? Essentially, to be able to do what you want to do, to be able to have options. And options is what we all tend to want, to do the best thing for our family, for our friends, our loved ones, to be able to pursue the passions that interest us, and not because we have to, but because we want to. Anyway, so the other options, as you know, either being in the financial market or real estate, usually need some fairly hefty startup capital. So business, especially in this day of the internet, is probably the way to go for a lot of people. But you need to be very serious. You need to treat whatever you're doing as a proper business and not as a hobby. As I heard the other day, you may be doing it part-time, not necessarily full-time, but it shouldn't be spare time or no time, in which case you're not really serious. You need to do whatever you're doing in this space, take it seriously. On that note, I got to thinking about how do you start and where do you start? There's always the wide or there's the deep. The wide, as I was thinking about it, and I said, okay, you want to be a party planner. What type of parties are there? Or not necessarily a party planner, throw parties. There are all kinds of parties. There are ones you have in your home. There are potlucks. You ask people to bring them. You can have them catered. You can have it at a restaurant. You can have it in a themed place. Or it could be a party, in a synagogue, in a mosque, in a church, for various reasons. You can have it in a huge party, raves. You can have it in a discotheque. There are all kinds of things and all kinds of ways of having parties. Now you could therefore take one of these parties, maybe the catering one, and say, what am I going to do? Am I going to be specializing in having buffets? Am I going to specialize in having great taster type menus? Am I going to specialize in having Italian cuisine? Am I going to specialize in having seafood? Am I going to specialize in barbecue? Am I going to specialize in rocking desserts? There are all kinds of things, and that's what I call deep. Now, where do you start in all of that? If you look at the entire picture, you're going to say, oh my gosh, overwhelm is going to start. So let's kind of try and get it into a more organized fashion. You don't want to start very deep. It's like starting at the subspecialization level and you basically have no idea of what's going on around you. So you want to start making the very best seafood dessert, but you don't know in which context it's placed. There's no point in making it if you are going to be serving it in a place where there are a lot of people who are allergic to seafood. You need to have a lot of context to whatever it is you're doing. Or serving pork, for instance, in certain functions, and people don't eat pork for a lot of religious reasons. You don't want to do that. So you need to have some context. So what I say is actually start from the basics of where we started this discussion. Having parties. So decide, out of all the forms of parties, which one appeal to you best. So you can say, okay, I like the idea of catered, and I can cater in people's home, or I can be a consultant and help out in a restaurant. So let's say you decide to make it in people's homes. You say, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to do something that's a buffet style, or am I going to do a sit-down style menu? So very broad categories. So once you start, you say, okay, fine, I want to be a party planner in people's home, and I will have it as a buffet style. Then once you start getting all the elements of your buffet style party planning together, if you've got to a stage where you have held your ground for a while, it's successful, then you can say, guess what am I known for? Actually, your clients will probably tell you that, wow, you make great desserts. Or wow, I love those appetizers. Or wow, those entrees were fantastic. You will tend to know what you do best, concentrate on that, and outsource the things that you don't do so well, but are still necessary for your business. How's that sounding? So you need to think both deep and wide, but look at the wide in order to pick out where you're going to be, and then look at the deep to subspecialize once you have got something going. You can't start going from deep before you look at the context. You're seeing, not seeing the wood for the trees, basically. So I'm doing this towards having you look at your business and say, okay, fine, I do want to start a business. There are lots of options out there, trust me. What exactly do you want? You have to determine what you want. If you haven't determined what you want, you're going to fall prey to all the offers out there, and there's some really, really, really good ones. How do I approach this? I already know what I want, so I say, how does this help my business? And all the various aspects to my businesses are synergistic. They support each other. Try not for duplication. Duplication, you're just going to be confused. So are these options synergistic? Do they help my business? Do they go wide or do they go deep? When you start getting a comfort level and you have, as you say, multiple streams of income, then you can start going deep in one of them. But start with one, maybe go 1 or 2 levels deep, and then start adding different sources of income, because you don't want to be stuck with any one source. As you know, you may belong to a network marketing company, for instance. Something happens to a network company, and all of a sudden your massive team and income dissolves into nothing. And I've seen it happen recently to quite a few people. Guess what? Barely a murmur, they moved on because they had other sources of income and other things they were doing, not just the network marketing company. So while network marketing company, I belong to it, I firmly believe in it, you cannot treat it as the sole source of income. If you do, you may come in for a nasty shock at some point in time. So be diversified. At some point in time, make sure that it's your business, not you are a vendor for the business. It is your business, and therefore you have to have other things on the go. And in which case, make sure you read the terms and conditions of your network marketing company, because some of them are not favorable, shall we say, to you branding yourself. You have to be really, really careful. But most important of all, from a standpoint of integrity, make sure that you do not add on other, competing businesses. It's best to keep them separate so that at least you can sleep at night. So on that note, I'm going to encourage you very strongly, make sure you know what you want. It's terribly important. Make sure you know what you want. And once you know what you want, you can begin to have a roadmap. A roadmap is so important. You have the roadmap, you know how this fits in, and if you see an attractive offer but it doesn't fit into your roadmap, please sling it. It does not help you. All it does is confuse you. Okay, that's it for this time. I hope you love this and share it with as many people as you like, your friends, your Facebook friends, and also join the newsletter. And the newsletter will give you some fantastic offers, because I do have, as I said, quite a number of things going on, and make sure that it is a right fit for you. So check out the newsletter. They're going to be fantastic offers. Sign up and like this on Facebook. Bye now.